evening, good afternoon, wherever, whatever, however you all are. Welcome to Clobby's Comic Shop, issue number 36. Holy fuckery, fuck-a-doo. That is awesome. Guys, how are you all doing tonight? I see we got people on Rumble and YouTube. Of course, we got our guests who's hanging out in the Rumble chat. Deeple101 as well there. How you guys doing? Let's acknowledge some faces here. You know what? Well, I guess we'll show off my mug as well, since we're kind of at it, So let's look at those faces here. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, FKHC 2005, the Comic Relief Crusader. Penny, how's it going, Penny? Nice to see you here. Nice to see you. Hey, there's Deeple again. Steven MKL, Subhuman 84. And right here, sub here is that Tom King. I'm here to write your favorite character's massive red flag. Did you watch Wes's video about that whole spiel with him writing the Lantern story? Because I think I remember Wes or Aaron Sparrow said something along those lines. D-Bud! What's going on, D-Bud? Jonathan Conroy. Just another red shirt. You know what? You're right. Nobody wants to see it. That's fair. That's true. That's valid. But they're stuck with seeing it anyway. So they're kind of fucked. So it is what it is, okay? You're going to have to deal with it. It's gonna be diabolical. It's gonna be huge. So, by the way, I don't know how I'm managing this right now because my head's been pounding me all day. And I'm just like, I can't cancel. No, I refuse. I outright just refuse to do that. I'm like, I'm just gonna find a way to make this shit work and get some alcohol in me that I'll probably pay for the next morning at my employer. But you know what? You only live once, and well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to freaking do it. So, of course, tonight we'll be talking the Daredevil Born Again comic. We've got a guest as well, Mr. Madhouse Retro Gaming, who has a Rumble channel. Might I add you, a Rumble channel. That's his primary thing. So, it'll be awesome to have him on and, pick apart his brain on his channel, and also when our other dudes get here, talk about Daredevil, because it's been a really Daredevil-filled week in these necks of the woods, and it seems to be other people's necks of the woods as well. So, you know what? Let's bring in our guest here, because other dudes are not here, but our guest is here. So how are you, sir?
Good. You caught me in the middle of packing a bowl.
Awesome. How are you, man?
I'm fantastic, man. Having a pretty good week. Little low motivation times, but that's to happen,
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, pretty good.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining tonight's show.
I really appreciate the invite, man. It's always nice to watch it, so it's cool to be a part of it now.
Nice. Hey, look at it. It's Decepticons Game of Collectibles. How's it going, dude? Long time no see. Welcome back. No, dude, it's good to have you. And I want to do a little quick, E! True Hollywood story about you, because clearly you have a Rumble channel, and maybe there's people who are not familiar with you, and maybe since once again we got some time before the R dudes slide on in here, why don't you tell people about your channel, about who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Madhouse Retro. I've been streaming for a couple years. I streamed on YouTube and Twitch for a while, and then I just wasn't getting. I was getting the runaround a lot with the back end. There wasn't a whole lot of support through the program itself for growth as a streamer. And I primarily do gaming streaming. So it's really hard. And then my one friend moved over to Rumble, and I was like, all right, well, I moderate for her on her channel on Twitch. So I was like, all right, I'll move over there and we'll moderate there. And I just found it, and I fell in love with it, dude. It's a breath of fresh air compared to the bloody battle that is YouTube and Twitch. Like every time you get on the stream, don't you always feel like, all right, I got to make sure I have this many watchers, this many, like you have the sense of like urgency that you have to do on YouTube and Twitch. And on Rumble, I'm just chilling. I did like a 9-hour stream the other day. I just smoked and played video games all day and just vibed with the chat. And that's what Rumble's all about. Rumble's about free speech, so there's no copyright infringement stuff over there. You can watch and do whatever you want within reason. Obviously, you're not going to like hack somebody's, whatever off on screen. That's stupid. But you can it's a great channel for like color commentary for shows and stuff like that. Like you use it for your Tuesday shows a lot, and that's fantastic. Like copyright claims on YouTube and Twitch kill channels like instantly.
Right? Straight up. No, that's no exaggeration. I know our audience here, they know a thing or three about that. I mean, they have seen and heard about plenty of our channels getting hit. It's almost like our audience knows a little bit of how the terms and conditions work just as much as the guys who operate on their own channel. So it's really fun to have an equally informed audience as much as the ones who run their channels. It's really amusing because they see all the hurdles we deal with on a regular basis per se.
Now imagine that, like that small amount of like of your audience here on YouTube that does that. That's everyone on Rumble. People in Rumble just want people to succeed. Like I got on Christmas Day, I got $100 dono, and he goes because that's when I became Rumble exclusive. Was like right at Christmas until like I was debating it between Christmas and the inauguration. I was like, do I want to completely go? So like on Christmas, I did a live stream and I was like, man, I think I'm going to go Rumble exclusive now. I'm tired of getting the runaround. And the guy's like, stay on Rumble. Here's $100. And I went, oh.
Oh.
So it's pretty powerful evidence to go to Rumble. And I mean, you see, I have my Rumble logo now.
Nice.
My Madhouse Retro name on it. And then and we're growing over there. You know, I get about, I definitely get a higher percentage. My growth is probably 20 to 30% higher on Rumble than it ever was on Twitch. And it's an immediate monetary gain. You need 5 followers to go live, and as soon as you go live, you start making money.
No, that's what I like about Rumble too, is that there's that instant monetization. I love it. It's like, oh, holy crud! I can actually not have to get to 1,000K plus the 4,000 watch hours. Granted, I know I had those things, and I busted tail to get those things on YouTube. I have them. I'm really lucky and fortunate that I not only get, I'd say around probably somewhere between 200 to 300 a month from super chats and member subs and gifted memberships, and of course, then those ad revenue. It's probably what I get admittedly a month, but obviously it took some time to get the Rumble. I can get that now instantly, but I also get a little bit more when people donate on Rumble. But of course, I try to keep my options open for some people because people like having the option of one thing or another. So I keep it open, but I respect those who are willing to take that bravely. But there is definitely a respect there that I do have, and for guys like you for doing that. Pablo's trying to come back in here.
Where'd Pablo go?
He'll be back. But we do got Fenrir here. How's it going, Fenrir?
Hey.
Buenas noches, muchachos. How you doing, boys?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Doing pretty great. Nick, sorry if I couldn't make it the last few weeks. Just that I met this girl, and the weekend's the only time we get to meet, and she had the most beautiful, well-shaped pair of action figures ever. I just couldn't miss it, man.
Well, that's fine. Just let me know in advance.
Plus, she had pretty good tits, too, but
yeah, the only 3 things.
She had the original Spawn from McFarlane, so I just couldn't miss. I just couldn't say no to that, man.
That's fair. What's up, Conan? By Crom. Davina. How's it going, Davina? And we got another dude here, but I let him acknowledge himself.
Howdy ho! Hey, what's up, brothers? Is my sound
Pablo?
good?
It's real good. In fact, mine sucked before the show went on. You could have our guest here verify that. It sucked. It really
I lost hearing for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. See, the audience would have never known that, but I chose to spoil them anyway. Let them know. Guess I did have that moment. So shite happens, man. Shite freaking happens like that. But it's okay. We're gonna have fun time for the next 2 hours. We got some classic comics to talk. Now, Madhouse, were you able to complete the story?
Now, so I was able to complete the first 3 in the run. I was able to complete the first. My brain shut down.
It's okay.
The first comic, and then I got into Purgatory and the one after that.
Okay.
And it was mostly more about because I've read them and I know what the story is. Like I know what happens, and it was more about looking at the art
before.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the art in a long time, so it was more about flipping through it and like finding art. And I'll tell you what, dude, you can give whatever you want to that story. That some of the art in that is just crazy, even for the 60s. Like
80s, I mean, but yeah,
Or
I get
80s,
your, I get
80s,
your
yeah,
point.
80s.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, no, David Mazzucchelli is absolutely incredible. He is really incredible, and I think a lot of people, especially when they come up in the more serialized format of stories in the last 15, 20 years, where everything's more so formatted for the trade, and sometimes it takes 5 or 6 issues to get something going, particularly in big two stories. In a story in the even 80s, 90s, something would happen every issue, whether it was good or bad. Obviously, it's a whole other conversation. But the point being is, every issue, something significant happened. So the comics at the
Oh
time
yeah,
were
the
a lot
episodic
more
format.
fast-paced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still had
It's
serial
actually a lot more
storytelling.
beautiful in that way.
You still had serial storytelling because it stayed in continuity. But in terms
No,
of
no, yeah,
things
yeah. You can
happening,
see it has a small detail of continuity, but it never constantly keeps on going the same damn thing over and over again to cheaply keep you looking. They have new stuff happening from time to time. It was episodic in nature, but had small continuity. It was contained. It was actually more beautiful than the crap we have today, which you need to buy at least 7 or 5 different books to understand what the hell's going on in one thing that in the 90s or 80s could have been done in just one issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Well worded, Fenrir. I appreciate that. Pablo, were you able to read the Daredevil stuff?
I almost finished.
Almost. Okay.
Yeah,
I know you read it before, but I was
yeah,
basically for me. This is just my 900th reread. This is what all this was.
dude.
Listen,
The writing is absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's something about. Sorry to spoil this, Madhouse. I will keep it really contained. Okay.
it's not a spoiler. I've read all of it before. I
Okay.
just wanted to reread it to look at the artwork that I haven't seen in many years.
Oh, perfect then.
Yeah.
There's a moment when the Kingpin is reading the report of
Mm-hmm.
what happened, and he just goes, "No corpse, no
Mm-hmm.
corpse,"
Mm-hmm.
and then
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of other things happening, and you don't get to see the Kingpin for a while. When you see him again, he's still thinking, "No corpse," and the writing says, "No corpse." Is the same thought for 6 hours,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
I like. Go ahead.
dude,
Yeah.
they keep the writing so tight, so perfect. Every single thing makes you feel the pain of the moment, the
Mm-hmm.
fixation of the moment. Because in the very next issue, they have this couple of panels of just mirroring what two people are thinking, and they are fixated on finding Matt
Hey.
Murdock. That's their everything. One wants
Mm-hmm.
to be saved, the other wants to kill Matt Murdock, but they think exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing until I find Matt Murdock, and it's so pungent, it's so strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's clear that Fisk took his obsession that he had with Daredevil. And, hey, Fender, if you're gonna make noise, turn your mic off. Um,
Yep, sorry about that.
I gotta be upfront because it's happened a lot. So, look, yeah, thank you. With Daredevil Born Again is to me it is as much of a Kingpin story as much as a Daredevil's, not in the sense of hey, look, Kingpin has a perspective and it makes him look like he has a point. This story to me makes him look cold, more evil than any story because you're realizing how deranged his mindset truly is and his obsession with Daredevil. And obviously he takes advantage of a lady who's in a very vulnerable position, Karen Page, who's a hardcore drug addict at this point. She needs her fix of the needle by a lot, and she gets so cracked out about it that she actually slips out Daredevil's identity, and it goes to, let's just say, the highest bidder, and that highest bidder was the Kingpin, and the Kingpin used that to his advantage, and he played dominoes. He built a long game effect where he basically ruined every single aspect of Matt's livelihood. He had his home burnt down. He cost him his legal job. He messed up his friendships and relationships. He basically took his entire life away without killing him. And in some ways, that's even worse because, well, you're stuck with living it. And I think that was an absolutely deliberate move of, I'm going to kill everything around you, but when it comes to you, I want to kill you myself.
And the Kingpin was absolutely true with.
Yeah, that is poetic vengeance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was trying to destroy Murdoch to the lowest level possible. When he tries to find somewhere to just sleep, he is just homeless. He is absolutely financially ruined. There's nothing left for Daredevil other than just his father's house. He goes there, it's already demolished. So there's nothing left. There's really nothing left. There's only the gym, but obviously he feels a smell in a level that you can't even grasp, and he has to go to the place that smells like old sweat and mold, and that's your only resource.
Yep. Ground zero for him. He's being treated to a point where he has mineral resources, and this is what happens when he has lost everything. And you would normally say in this case he has nothing to lose, but even when he still lost it all, he still has shit to lose because he feels taunted with the fact that he wasn't taken with all this stuff, and the fact that he's lost his friendship. Foggy's out there, he can barely get a hold of him. Karen's out there, no idea what's going on with Karen, and he is absolutely like it makes him crazy. Wish any guy who lives in that position, it would drive us all crazy to have our whole world flipped upside down. And he knows it wasn't a coincidence. It was things that was accumulating over time. That could definitely that could ruin a psychology of a man. In some case, that can make that guy batshit insane, and they don't recover from that. So it takes a really strict mindset to not have to, fall from grace, no Daredevil pun intended, to lure themselves to becoming just like their enemy. It really does take a specific discipline to do that, because if this were your average Joe, they would have absolutely, sure, they would take it on a guy like Fisk, but they would have also taken out on others around them just because they happen to be there by happenstance. Would you like to add anything to this, Mr. Madhouse?
I'm 100% on board with that explanation, man. This is literally, this is one of those stories like the Spider-Man tragedies, where like tragedy, like where he loses everybody. Aunt May dies, Mary Jane dies, everyone dies. He's the last, Avenger left. Like those kinds of stories where they have nothing left and yet they still rise above.
Norman Osborn does unspeakable things.
Go ahead. Go ahead and finish your point, Madhouse.
They have to rise above it, and it's really weird the way you see it in the board against the whole run. Like throughout it, he like second guesses a lot of the decisions he makes, which up to that point he doesn't do. He's always been like, I'm doing this, that's it, boom, we're done. Like that, even in his lawyer life and as Daredevil, like all around, he's always been a very gung-ho, like, let's do it, let's go. And now he's like second guessing things. He laid in bed for like a week or something like that in the motel because like he was depressed. That's what he said. He goes, I have no energy. He goes, I have no energy. And that, like, it shows a different level of superhero outside of that normal Boy Scout, Superman, Spider-Man, high moral level of whatever. It shows that there are heroes that like give up. They're like, we're done. We can't do this anymore. And I think that's what was so impactful about this whole run.
Yeah,
I agree. Well put, dude. I appreciate that thought on it. It's true. I think our friend Gary Nerdrock said back, he's basically Marvel's punching bag. He knows how to take a hell of a beating, almost like he's Rocky Balboa. And man, does he know how to come back swinging when it all comes up. So outside of obviously the two main characters, one of my favorite characters, and I definitely like your guys' thoughts on. I love when a comic book can really do a good job on supporting characters, and like Spider-Man before him, Daredevil has had such incredible supporting characters, and not just Fogg and Karen, who obviously are great. But I want to give a really specific shout out to Ben Urich of the Daily Bugle, because what a character. And he also goes through some hurdles too. Just to have he's a guy who literally has no powers. He is put on the edge of suspense just for doing his job. At a time when when journalism was, let's just say, a bit more integral.
Actually had weight on itself.
I'm sure there's flaws, and we got some guys, lady in the chat who might.
And I gotta say, Ulrich, he's a character that really owns the place when he's on the scene. For example, like that in the hospital bed with the kid, you actually felt a little bit of command on him for the whole thing, even with the lady saying no smoking. You actually felt that it's like the page is telling you gotta respect this guy in a bit.
That's why it hurts so much when he's hearing the other guy being killed on the phone, and you can see the terror on his face.
This scene right here, where he reads the thing and he says, "Matt Murdock is the most honest man I know."
Yep.
That right there tells, it's crazy that they were able to capture a whole character in one line. Because that's all Ben Urich. That's his entire character was like, "Hey, I'm here to help Matt, and I'm here to help Daredevil." That was his part of the supporting character, and then he evolved so drastically, especially in this run. But it's just he's such an underrated character that next to nobody knows unless you're into Daredevil or into all the comics like we are. But it's crazy. I was rewatching the Ben Affleck one. No, I like it. It's whatever. Okay. And every time he comes on screen, and I'm like, "Oh, there's Ben." I just get so happy. I know it wasn't a great rendition of Daredevil and as a whole, but the fact that he was on screen at all was just happy. It made me happy.
Okay. Really quick, I want to acknowledge this great comment from somebody. How long before Marvel decides to bring back Karen Fleet? Though it's amazing that they haven't sooner. No. Before I stopped reading, they did tease that a bit, but it was always there's always a twist to it. So it wasn't actually Karen. There was always something there to mess with Matt. So there was always a caveat. It was never actually Karen. Shockingly, that's a character like many of Matt's girlfriends. If Matt Murdock were comparable to any character outside of comics, I would say he's really much like Paul Kersey from the Death Wish movies, in the sense that every time he has a lady he has the hots for, and not only does he get the girl, but a lot of them tend to have the worst endings ever. And he's had a long line of girlfriends, and if you watch all 5 Death Wish movies, Paul Kersey himself had a bit of a long line of girlfriends himself, Mr. Charles Bronson.
Yeah, but let's be honest, being Matt Murdock's girlfriend pretty much just, it's a straight shot to a very, very shallow grave.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Can any of us name one that's still alive?
Not a single one.
Just Elektra. That's it.
But let's be honest, she's dead character-wise. Marvel's not been doing much good to her.
Yeah. I hardly consider Elektra... and that's my thing. It's I don't consider Elektra a girlfriend. That was a whole another level.
One night stand.
Correction.
Yeah,
this is a real important correction. Elektra actually died.
Yeah, that's true.
Elektra. Well, her death was a really well-earned death. I did enjoy her later on and stuff from Brubaker, Soul. He actually shockingly used her very lightly for his run. Then there was the Bendis stuff, which is weird to say, considering who Bendis was and what he became. It's really crazy to believe that, but once upon a time, he was competent. Oh, look who's here. Core member. Said, damn, just read Purgatory. Excellent. Miller's awesome. Yes, he freaking is, dude. Yeah, that's one. You hit on a great segue, core member. I'm glad you did. I love the titles of all these comics, these individual issues, because, now 226 is more or less considered like a soft lead-in, but then 227 through 233 is pretty much the actual straight-on story, even though they don't use the title Born Again until 230. But I love how all these comic books, the individual issues, they have the titles Apocalypse, Purgatory. And I love
Yes, it has a Genesian biblical meaning to all of them. And if you actually look very well into the comic books, it all has a specific theme to either one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
name's not
no,
just
you're right.
random. It actually
Yeah.
has something.
For example, Apocalypse is when they destroy Matt Murdock's life. Is the apocalypse for Matt Murdock?
And they all have like some sort of Catholicism check mark in
Oh,
it,
yeah.
because like, and I always loved that about Daredevil. They never shied away from his religion, like they did with a lot of other comics. They were like, Captain America is religious, but like, no, like Daredevil is Catholic. Like that's
Yeah.
he's
The symbol of his character itself is religious. He's a devil.
yeah.
He is a
That's why he
Catholic
took the name.
figure, a Christian figure. Yeah. And the whole appearance of the costume, he's bright red with horns, everything. So, yeah, you cannot get away from Catholicism.
The
when you're
daring devil punishing the wicked. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Mhm.
That's in the Bible.
That actually is. That actually is a thing in the Bible. Daring devil punishing the wicked.
Yeah.
No, it is really beautifully told. And of course, if for those who are in the chat and maybe a little bit from the show, there's elements that were used in season 3. And in some cases, elements in season 1 were taken from the story. And if you think, what could be season 1? Because I'm sure you've heard a few of us YouTubers talk about how well they more or less adapted elements from in season 3. Well, there was a few elements in season 1, and I'll go over 2 of them right now. One of them is the hesitant use of Wilson Fisk's name. When they say the lines in season 1, we don't say his name. A lot of that really was stemming from here. That was a big thing to protect Wilson's name so that nothing, no roads, no ties, led to him. Not one trace. So that was one thing. That was like, oh, okay. And then there's another thing with Mr. Gladiator, aka Melvin Potter, a guy who obviously outside being Gladiator, he makes a lot of stuff for heroes and villains, and he has a wife, Betsy, who he cares for, even though he's had his fair share of wrongdoings. But like in season 1, where he felt threatened by the Kingpin, but Daredevil ensured his protection, well, you get a little bit of that in here as well. You get that element. So it shows you, like, throughout the series, when it was originally strictly on Netflix, they had adapted elements slowly but surely, kind of more spread out throughout the show. But obviously the 3rd season, with the Maggie Murdock and the lying on the bed, and then you have another guy donning his suit that he has to fight. That was obviously, really adopted from here. So that's where the season 3 stuff kicks in. I'm curious to see where the show That's How Born Again will lead with its influence going forward. But obviously that's another conversation for another stream. I want to mention how I love how when we're in rooms, it makes me feel like I'm in a room. But when I see him leaping the buildings at night, it feels like I'm watching a movie play out. With the way that Mazzucchelli has its art, makes it feel like I'm almost watching like a movie at play with his leaping of the buildings. These shots are absolutely gorgeous. And sure, they ain't the most action-packed, but just seeing him like in the snow and the cold of the Christmas setting in New York City, so cool to see the way he draws him.
Look, if you go back up there, he's not on like a rooftop. That's a power line he's running across.
Oh yeah.
That's to be able to show, like, look at him, like he's full speed, like he's going full burst on a power line. That shows so much balance and skill in that one frame. That shows you what Daredevil is.
Now, I want to say one thing. I've been hearing a lot of people complain because of the way Daredevil moves up in the new show that it's too Spider-Man like. Dude, Daredevil's done shit to make Spider-Man look tame.
That's clear that they're not, that they must be speaking from a little bit of a tourist perspective.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make that accusation.
I know, that's why I always avoid responding. It's hilarious.
Train Spider-Man and a lot of his gymnastic stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like I know there's a little crossover sometimes with him. Like
they have great chemistry together.
I mean, they're in the same area. Like New York.
Because Peter doesn't actually know how to do any of the actual movements. He's just going on instinct because of the enhancements of its body. He doesn't actually know what he's doing. That's why Shang-Chi actually taught him how to fight, because he doesn't actually know. He's just enhanced.
Yeah,
Mhm,
well,
mhm.
Daredevil had Stick, and Stick is, well, basically he created a weapon. Matt
Mhm.
Murdock is over the top powerful.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a very interesting
I
thought
always like
process.
to think he was just basically creating
Hold
an
on.
air without saying it.
I think Madhouse had something he wanted to add. Go ahead, and they can take it after Fenrir.
Here's a thought process about it then. So like obviously Matt Murdock's not enhanced outside of like his normal enhancements.
Radar
Like
sense, yes.
yeah,
Radar
Yeah,
sense, yes.
everything
right.
else just training.
Everything
He's
else is just
basically a ninja.
naturally training and toning. So is
Hmm.
Batman though.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, they're both
So
basically guys who are the peak of human strength.
put them in a giant sphere or square with no exit and no way out and let them battle it out, and I want to know who would win.
Ooh,
Uh,
see, for me, that I'm a
I'm
Daredevil
sorry,
guy, so
dude,
you
but
already know where my
it's gonna be
answer is.
Batman because he has one power the devil does not. Fucking
Money.
plot bullshit dependency.
Well, what happens when he
The
doesn't
plot will
have it?
always turn
All right,
itself with the biggest
without with
bullshit to make
so
Batman win.
take away plot healing, like stupid shit like that. Like
Okay,
if they could die, like if it was a life or death world battle, like I
I have a
honestly think
question.
Daredevil would take it. And I think
I
it's only because Daredevil has the will that Batman does not.
Okay, I have a
That's
question.
true.
Is there any illumination inside of the sphere?
What do you
Illuminate.
mean
Yeah, it's like it's
elimination?
as bright as like it's a normal brightness. Like it looks like to them it just looks like a big white room.
Okay, why? The reason why I was asking, Batman also has echolocation. He can also use sound to detect the positions of the enemy to fight.
Hmm.
So even if you take away the light, Batman still has basically parity on the level of abilities, at
Hmm.
least at the physical
Mm.
level.
Okay, so you're
But
saying Batman's
God, let's
equipment
be
can't
honest.
do that.
Batman's not really human at this point. He's
yeah,
lost that title long
it's
ago.
a really tight match. I will say Batman has the upper edge.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think it would
Go
be
ahead,
really fun to
Madhouse.
watch.
You're about to sound off on something. Let's let you finish your statement.
About what? What?
Yeah, well, you're about to say something, and then we were kind of getting caught up in the midst of conversation.
That's what I was just talking about. It's like I think Daredevil would it would be so close, but I think Daredevil would take it simply on
Mhm.
the basis that yeah, he has echolocation and whatever, but like
Wait,
Murdoch's on a
I
different
vaguely
level
remember Stan
physically
Lee
than
saying
Batman
that
is.
his
Hold on.
echolo.
Let him finish his point.
No, actually, it has to do with what he's saying. I actually think Matt would actually win because I remember Stanley vaguely. I remember reading somewhere that Stanley vaguely said that Matt's echolocation is better than Spidey's spider sense, so that would actually give him an edge.
Hmm.
Well, I
Hmm.
think regardless, at this point, Batman relies heavily on his equipment. Like he's still
Hmm.
skillful. Like he has tons of like what does he know, like 30 something different martial arts or something like that. Like
Hmm.
an outrageous number of stuff. His IQ's off the charts. I get all that. But
He knows crap taught by monks, like how to resist telepathy from a gorilla telepath.
right.
It gets
Like he can do that
ridiculous.
shit. But like literally Daredevil, that's all he does is fight. That's it.
He knows
He
how to take
fights,
a
he
hit.
trains, and he
It would.
fights and he trains. and
Mhm.
and I think that's what would give him an edge is that just constant like Matt Murdock's edged himself to a point where he doesn't get dull. There's no
Okay.
off time. So I think that would edge him out over Batman for that simple reason.
I'd like to think, to complete your point, I like to think that if Daredevil is Rocky Balboa, Batman's Apollo Creed, because he's a guy. Batman will maybe he'll come out maybe barely victorious, but the way he'll look at her,
Wait, Batman's Apollo Creed?
a lot of people say Daredevil won. Think about Rocky 1. And then Daredevil has that rematch. And then he wins proper. And he wins proper. And you
Batman
have
came in with
that
weighted
opening scene
gloves.
in Rocky 2 where they're on their wheelchairs going to the hospital. And Batman's going off like Apollo Creed, how he surprised him. And oh, you got Lucky Stallion, and Rocky's there. We'll do a look.
Wait, then who would be Drago?
Rocky can take a beating like Daredevil. Oh God, Drago's like Bane or the Kingpin.
I think no, it wouldn't be Kingpin. It'd probably be Abomination.
Oh well, that's a
Drago,
Hulk
he's-
villain.
like-
That's a Hulk villain. So I'm thinking more of the Daredevil,
Not
Batman. But
Abomination.
I get what
Who's
you're
the
saying.
Superman? Blockbuster. Blockbuster.
No. I think Colossus is better for Drago. I mean, Russians, you know.
Yeah, but once again, that's
But
an
that's
excellent
like outside
character.
of both of their wheelhouse.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, you're right. No, Madhouse is right. I get what you guys are saying. There's validation to a point for those teams as enemies in those arguments. But as far as Daredevil and Batman go, yeah, Batman does. Him and Nightwing have faced off against Blockbuster. That'd be a fairly appropriate. Yeah, I can roll Blockbuster. I like that one. Good choice, man. I haven't heard that name in a bit. So good choice.
That's an
Really
oldie.
good choice. Yeah. Hot damn, dude. Okay. So, anyways, Bordan, amazing, incredible art from David Mazzucchelli. Every cover, too. Every single damn cover is something that's like a poster. I don't know what was the mission with Mazzucchelli, but my guess is like make it look like something that looks like an art piece, and then make that your thing.
They look like at the end of a scene before a movie transitions to the next scene, like that last like freeze frame moment.
Mhm.
That's what they all look like, and they look so good. Like this scene, this is the one I was talking about.
Yep.
Where he gives up. Look at him. He's clutching the bed because he's afraid to fall out. Like he has nothing in you. He's lost everything. He's lost everything, not just physically, but mentally. It's just gone. So sad.
Yeah, it is. And to think that, this is at a point where Frank Miller, this was the near end, if not exact end of his run. Now, he did some one-off stuff for annuals and contributing to other issues later on. But as far as his end to the run proper, Born Again, this was it. This is the culmination of all his works. This is where everything led up to this point. And in a day and age where it feels like the formula now is about break a character, except nowadays they don't get to come back. We got to see a character broken down, but man, did his comeback feel ever so glorious when we saw him come back to get Karen, to get Foggy. You see Captain America, Iron Man, Thor intervene because of his fight with Nuke. And then it's down to him and the Kingpin. It is the comeback of it. It's like he's basically at that point, he's the band who maybe put out the stinker of an album, and then he's just like, oh, you forgot about me? Oh, hold on. You'll remember me now with this. And it's a fucking comeback, man. It is a glorious comeback. It feels so triumphant. I feel like movie scripts could learn a thing or 900 from how you break a character down and bring it back up, especially in day and age where all we do is break and not have them reconstruct in any way, shape, or form. Take it away, one of you guys.
Dude, there's a couple of things that you can take because it's not only Matt Murdock's being born again.
Mm-hmm.
Karen Page is also being born again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's this whole plot of her getting deep into drugs and then she trying to get out, but she gets with this guy that beats her, and then you see
I'm just gonna say, what kind of guns did Paulo have, man?
well,
It looked like a shotgun, but it was like it was shooting freaking hand grenades, man.
she's a junkie, man.
And she was with a druggie, with a druggie.
Yep. It was sad. It was really sad.
Real fucked up.
Yeah, but a good lesson. Don't touch drugs, kids.
Yeah,
Thank
but then there's that panel
don't do drugs.
of Matt hugging.
Oh, come on, dude.
All right, go ahead, Pablo. Go ahead.
There's that panel where Matt is hugging Karen Page, and she looks almost like a skeleton. There's something about that imagery and everything that is said in the panel about him just trying to comfort her, him laughing up at the situation, saying that he didn't lose anything because he has her now and he's taking care of her. So that's basically full restitution for him at that point.
No, you hit on something great there, Pablo. Not that you don't. That's like obvious as any day ending in Y. But there's a lot of iconography based shots. From the shot that was Matt and Karen reunited, this shot here of the Kingpin looking over Sizzy. And then there's the shot at the end of issue 232 going into 233 where you see all the flames surrounding Daredevil, who's ready to go toe to toe against Snoot. The amount of shots, you're like, wow, that shot is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So many memorable shots that stick out to you. It's just the imagery is absolutely incredible, and I could see why many try to write and try to match what the story does, because it was clear that he was going for a different idea with Daredevil. Granted, Daredevil's always been a punching bag, but not to the extent that this is gone for Matt at this point. It is a very hard thing to take away what he took away without killing the character and make it still feel like it counts. And then, man, when that comeback hits, once again, the sweetest comeback of a lifetime. But it really is hard to, at that point, think, how do you get away not killing it and still buy it? Well, Frank Miller wrote it, and you still buy it. And boy, I felt all the hits with Matt. Every time he was going crazy, every time he had to settle up, every time he tried to call Foggy, and the call was a bit of a mixed bag. Not hearing from Karen. The fact that he had $10 was, at the time, $10 was a bit closer to a luxury than now in 2025. But he could barely afford a hotel. And, man, it's clear Matt how dangerous Kingpin was at the time. This was before advanced technology. And yet he was able to still have eyes.
I gotta say, comics were a lot more fun when we had less stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Now all they do is just put some huge computer or satellite or download some crap. It's no longer fun.
Oh, our guy, core member, just finished Pride. Gotta move on to Barn Gate. Oh, dude. No, so good. So good. And it's such a wonderful, heartfelt reveal when you see that Matt's being rehabilitated and it ends up being his mother, Maggie Murdoch. All these years, she's a nun. And it's such a fitting thing, too, that she's the one taking care of him and that she's a nun, considering who he is, where he comes from, his attachment to his Catholicism. And it's like, wow, that is amazing. That's almost poetic for me.
Yeah, one of the people that helps him is a priest. So there's a lot there that he was basically being all the time saved and pointed in the right direction by the church. And where is his mother? The person that when he was still just recovering from the surgery after being blinded, is the person that gave him comfort, that gave him a way to stop hearing everything at the same time and just focusing on small sounds and keeping sanity. That woman that then disappeared was part of the church, and the church was guiding Matt Murdock as a person and as a superhero.
Speaking, another iconography based shot right here. Great way to end the issue. He survives what was supposed to be his death after Kingpin mollywopped the shit out of him. And he got
there was nobody.
Straight up, he got out. It is glorious.
That's what I mean when I say about his will. Like his will is like Green Lantern level will. Like he is
Here's the thing.
Crazy.
It doesn't matter the level of pressure. Underwater, opening a car door, breaking out of a car underwater is freaking difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, insanely difficult. There's a reason mobsters use that method of execution.
That's what I mean. That's what like he's so underrated, and it sometimes really hurts to watch the show and watch him just so
Getting mollywopped.
a female dog.
Female dog. You guys are
Yeah.
killing me. What's up, FKHC? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for dropping in, dude. Appreciate you. Oh man, no. Every time I go back to this, I'm just like I feel so like comfortable. I'm like, oh, I get to read this again. Oh no, like I talked about this with Clobby a while back. Rest in peace, Clobby. I gotta dig the link for that show, but Clobby and I got together. It was just him and I, mano y mano, talk about this comic. I get to talk about it with you guys. It's gonna be spoiler part of a video I'm doing on Daredevil. Probably like a 20-25 minute video I'm doing. Is we part of that video. We'll just say it. I won't say to what extent. If you don't know, well, you'll find out. It's one of those stories that I'm just going to be linked to for as long as I live. And speak of things being linked to as long as you live, Kingpin and Matt Murdock. It's clear that the minute Kingpin finds that there's no corpse, Matt Murdock lives in his head rent free. It eats at him so spitefully that he was so sure. And to be fair, I don't blame him for why he thought he was sure. I would be sure too. The fact that he did everything right to get this guy to never come back, and he came back. Nobody found in the car. It should have been the best laid plans of mice and men. And yet here we are, and Matt is out there. Barely out there, but he's out there. Holy shit.
I think this is a great arc for Kingpin as well. Like it brings him from that low level Spider-Man thug to this next level gangster, and he becomes a gangster, and that's when he evolves into the Daredevil level. You know what I mean? And this whole arc brings that it shows what Kingpin can do. And it shows a level that Kingpin's at this point not gone to yet, but had like this arc takes it there, and I think it's just as much an evolution in Kingpin as it is Matt Murdock and Daredevil's character.
I strongly agree with that sentiment. And now that I think about it, considering I have watched 2 episodes of the current show, there is already one element from this comic that's being played into this show currently. If you haven't watched the show and if you care, I would suggest you leaving. I'll give you a 15-second countdown. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
69,
1.5, 1, 0. Okay, you're here. All right, awesome. Vanessa Fisk and Wilson Fisk are on the rocks in the show, and they were on the rocks in this comic book. They were absolutely on the rocks. For Vanessa, it was not good. She didn't have a favorable outcome, and they were on the rocks, and it led to some unfortunacies for them. I'll leave at that. That's where I will be kind and leave at that. But that is already an element that's coming into play for the show. It's amazing how so many elements can come into play in once again a single issue of each of these issues, and yet nothing about it.
Here's the thing about Vanessa. She was thirsty, but Wilson wouldn't give her water.
Yeah. Well, that's Wilson. What's up, Mohammed said? I finished reading me. Dude, my man. Good choice on comic booking, dude. You are always reading the great shit. I love it. Great to see you here, brother. All right. Thank you for dropping in, and I love your updates. They never get old. Finished reading Fantastic Four, issue 60. Oh, dude, nice.
Ooh.
Look at this guy. Man on a mission. Straight up man on a mission.
He's just got a big old book that says classics.
Oh, Muhammad said is a reading gene. Straight up. It's incredible. I wish I can do what he did, but the way I absorb things and consume stories, my mind functions very differently. So I cannot read like that at all. Maybe one day
Seems
when
like
I
he
hit
reads
boomer
multiple
status.
different things at the same time, and that would drive me insane. Like having all those different storylines all mixed up in my brain would just like, wow. That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
You can do that though. That's awesome.
Joe Dog, that's funny you mentioned that. I got a dig for it, but I actually just picked that up as a back issue a few days ago. I have it somewhere. I have it amongst my piles because I have piles. Yes, I do. That's what being a comic book guy is. You have piles. It's around, and yeah, it's already mixed in with the piles. But I picked it up, so I don't think I've ever truly given Burn stuff a genuine shot. And the reason why I didn't, as much as I love Burn and I love what he did with She-Hulk, I was always concerned about the idea of him having this Clark Kent is first, Superman is second. Now that said, maybe there's at least something I can appreciate from the story, even if I am not on board with the Clark Kent first, Superman second element. I will give it a genuine shot sometime between now and let's just say my death, per se. Because you know what? I just want to know. I just want to know. That's all. Knowing is a huge
Half the
portion of the battle. Anyways, bringing it back to Daredevil Born Again, the comic. My goodness. If you were wondering, can I just jump into any issue? Actually, yeah, you can. Yes, obviously, you should read all of it to once again benefit that larger picture. But the fact is, they know how to recap stuff while moving the story forward. They don't do a whole page of recapping, telling what happened. They give you ideas what happened previously, and it's being lived through the characters, whether it's through narration or the spoken dialogue. They give you ideas of what's happening throughout the story, so they fill you in the blanks. And this is at a time when comics were actually new reader friendly per issue. It's almost like the normies were kept in mind because we give a lot of flack to our normies, in some cases rightfully so. But this is a very valid argument to be conscientious of the normies because this is a good way of luring them in to get into the medium because you want them to feel like they can just jump in cold to anything. You want them to have that. Lost art. Lost art.
Dude, there's something about using Nuke and the way that they build up Nuke because you hear a couple of issues before his name and it's just Fisk going nuclear quite literally. He's trying to get
He
that
went
panel.
nuclear.
Yep.
You did it. Oh, you beat me to it. Oh.
This is one of my favorite pictures ever in this whole series.
Yep.
This scene right here is amazing.
Go on, Pablo.
Actually, I think this is based on an actual Christian artwork.
I think it is.
Might
I
be.
think, yeah. Isn't it Mary holding Jesus?
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
Yeah. I know exactly what you are talking about. I know that picture. I just don't remember the name or the artist, but yeah, I have in my mind exactly what you mean. No, but it's just that they build up Nuke as something really dangerous, as something that.
Oh, it's a sculpture. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh,
It's a sculpture
Pieta.
called Pieta.
oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
made by Michelangelo. It's gorgeous looking.
My favorite turtle.
There you go.
Sorry, Pop.
No worries. But yeah, is
Oh, look, we
the-
got a spelling of it in the chat. What's up, Jeff Danes? La Pieta. Good to see you, Jeff. Thanks for dropping in, dude. Hell yeah, man. All right, carry on, Pablo. Sorry. I haven't seen him in a while, so he deserved that extra
no worries,
acknowledgement.
man. You have the main villain that is the Kingpin, but the Kingpin is always present. Is at some point you almost feel like this is most more of his story than Matt Murdock's,
Mm-hmm.
because of the way that they present him as uh, a character that expects that moves the plot forwards instead of just expecting it. He is the actual character that makes everything happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neok is different. He's another level of villain. He's just the mini boss, but he feels more like a boss. He feels more like uh, the real enemy a bit, because they build him so much. They make him feel so grandiose, so terrible. And then you get Captain America in the fight, right? So you don't,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't take just Daredevil that he's human level power. It
Mm-hmm.
takes a super soldier to fight another super soldier, and you get
Mm-hmm.
Captain America in the mix, and it's two characters that are the opposites about the glory of America, while there's a man trying to save his soul. So you get the two aspects of America: the full-on liberty and the full-on tyrannic overreach of power,
Mm-hmm.
fighting against each other, while a man is trying to save his soul through religion.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have any of that in modern Marvel.
You have that in current day. That's exactly the point. Current day is pretty much that. America is fighting for the soul of America, and a huge part of that fight is religion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is quite poignant. The whole comic is quite poignant. Is is one of those eternal pieces that at any point you can read and you will find similarities with current day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this piece right
I
here.
think I
Oh,
think this
I
is
gotta go back.
this is my most recommended. Like if someone says, "Hey, I want to get into whatever," I'm like, read
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil Born Again. And they're like, "Oh, what do I need to know?" I'm like, "Nothing.
Nothing.
You will be
Nothing.
given everything and more."
It's actually a whole lot better when you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, yeah, and I've
I
had people that never read comics before, and I said, "Hey, go read this series. I'll point you to where you can go read it. Go read it, and then come back to me." And they're like, "Okay, what's next?" And I'll just send them to something else. Like I'll make comic lovers out of people that have never read comics before ever from this
that's
series.
beautiful.
And
That's amazing.
it's
Yeah.
such it's just it's it was underappreciated in its time is what it was.
That's the way to go, brother.
Well,
Good
you
night,
have
Penny. Thank you for being
like
here. Have a great night.
you have
Night,
Appreciate it.
sweet dreams.
you
All
have a
right.
great
Pablo wants to say
flow
something. Go ahead.
with basically throughout the story. You get different narrations from Matt Murdock, from even from the Kimping, a bit of narration. But that is not only just exposition. They give you a good frame of mind for every character. They give you a way to understand the way they are acting, the position that they have at that moment, and the steps that they are taking towards everything. Matt Murdock's, though, is maybe the best narrator. When he's thinking about what to do with the Kingpin, and I will go and kill the Kingpin. No, we don't do that. I will beat the Kingpin. And he's falling slowly into madness, and the writing becomes more unhinged slowly. So you get narrators that actually really easy to follow, and then you get Matt Murdock that is chaos, and it adds another layer of complexity. This comic is basically an onion, layer after layer after layer after layer. Sorry,
Mhm.
Shrek reference, I had to.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Pablo. I mean,
Is Yeah,
go,
it's great. It's profound. Is methodical on the approach that it takes to guide you through the story. but at the same time, with Matt Murdock takes so much leisure on just go crazy, just
Mhm.
savor this moment of nihilism and destruction, and it works great, especially because of the redemption, the way that he comes back, and that constant phrase of "never give up." That's what my father said.
All right, really quick, I want to acknowledge this comment from Mr. Joe Dog. Says, "Hey Nick, you a fan of the Beatles?" All right, quick derailment from our great show here. Here's my take on the Beatles. I don't feel like I have a valid take on the Beatles, and here's why I don't feel like I have a valid take. So I'm gonna make this connect to another band. It's gonna take 2-3 minutes. Bear with me here. So there's this band. You may have heard of them. You may like them. You may hate them. Not relevant, but I'm trying to make a point here. They're called Soundgarden, and there's a song called Black Hole Sun, and I hate it with a boiling passion. I hate it like there's no tomorrow. I hated it with all my fiber and being. But then one day I had an epiphany. I heard the album Bad Motor Finger. And when I heard that album, I thought to myself, holy shit, this is fucking great. Who is this? And then that's when I learned it was Soundgarden. And I thought to myself, that band who wrote Black Hole Sun? Really? But it was the same band. And I love that album. So it inspired me to look into their other albums, and that's including, well, Black Hole Sun, one with Black Hole Sun. And I realized at that point I misjudged them. And what I mean by misjudging is I heard the hit, the quote unquote hit single on the radio, and I judged their catalog on that one song. I think it's on Super Unknown, the song is. I can't remember. But once I actually gave an album a shot, I realized, holy crap, it's just one song I don't like. And where this connects to the Beatles is I've only heard the hits, the few super duper hit singles. And maybe it's the fact that they've been overplayed my whole life. I don't necessarily hate them, but I heard it so much that I feel like I could do without them. And that includes bands that I love. If you want to play the art of consistency. Maybe if I heard an album from the Beatles in its entirety, not just the hit singles, I feel like I would have more of a valid opinion because Soundgarden wasn't the only band I did that to. I originally was also that way with AC/DC. Once I actually listened to an entire album, I ended up really liking and appreciating AC/DC because I listened to an album. I'm not a singles guy. I'm an album guy, if you understand what that means. So if you got an album that you feel like I should check out, I would love to know what album or albums should I check out and listen to in their entirety because I am all ears. I am straight up all ears. And from what I've been told from some of my more hippie-like friends, the Beatles got pretty out there and weird later on, like almost like borderline on psychedelic. And that kind of sounds like that would be to my interests. So all I'm
Human
getting
yeah.
is here,
albums?
if you got albums, I want to know. Let me know, and I'm all ears, man. I'm all ears because I have realized I have misjudged bands based on hits, and then when I actually listen to an album, I'm like, bro, oh, dude, Stephen M. I'm gonna give you an example here of an album where the singles, and this is the only reason why I listen to this one album on Spotify. I love Appetite for Destruction. I love it. It's a phenomenal album. But, however, in the before times, I listened to it on CD. I still have it because physical media rules. But nowadays, it's one of the few albums I listen to on my Spotify playlist. And the reason why is because I do not need to hear Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, and Paradise City for the 1,000,001th time. They're great songs,
We've all
fantastic,
heard those.
beautifully written. They're wonderful. But I've heard them so much that because I have it on Spotify on my moderated playlist includes the other 9 songs without those 3.
Those that music in the last 10 years. They've been in every movie.
But I love them though. I still think they're great, and I love Back in Black too. And that was absolutely funny you mentioned that, Jeff Tanks. That's the album I listened to in its entirety. When I heard, I'm like, holy shit, I misjudged these guys because I only heard the hits. So
to be fair, that's one of their most. That's probably the most cohesive album they ever made. to be fair, with in respect to the rest
I love
of
it.
their albums.
I love it. And Joe Dust, I loved it, dude. I love Danzig too. I saw Danzig a year and a half ago. They did the.
I'll forever love the Beatles because they taught me a good lesson. Never let a member of the band bring their girlfriend in.
I love that.
I thought it was the Happy Yellow Submarine.
That too.
I thought you should choose women with better buttocks.
The first
That
Danzig
too.
album is one of my favorite albums of all time. They did a tour in 2023, 35th anniversary, and they did the entire album front to back. They had a great few. They had a few openers, and one of the openers is one of my favorite younger bands called Midnight. Midnight is like basically a Venom and Motorhead got to an orgy with each other, and they created Midnight. And the fact that Danzig brought them out as an opener was so fucking sweet that they did that. I was so happy ever because it's like, dude, this is like my worlds colliding right here. My younger self from Danzig, my current self at Midnight. So that's where I am with Danzig. Because 2, 3, 4, even some of the stuff later on, not as good, but I still love it. I still love it. Man, I just went on. I said I was gonna take 2 or 3 minutes. I ended up paying like 5, 6, 7 minutes. Sorry, guys. What's up, Gabby? He says Misfits. I even like the McCall stuff from the Misfits. I even like the McCall stuff. I'm not talking just Danzig too, but the vocalists who followed him out there. I do respect a little bit of the oddball eras of Misfits as well, but I'm one of those guys who appreciates a lot of the oddball eras of a lot of vocalists from legendary bands. Like, I'm a big Tony Martin guy from Black Sabbath. Love the Tony Martin stuff. Incredible. So good. So damn good. Usual Tea Times even mentioned the Beatles in the 60s issues. Yeah, that's true. I have read some of those comments they did, and that's just a way of showing a testament to how significant they are culturally and always will be. There's no denying what they have done for music, and it will always be there. Well, as far as I'm concerned, for the rest of eternity. But anyways, man.
And about teaching young men that banking chicks on strawberry fields is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Just don't wear anything white or anything that is, kind of light color in general. It will get messy. Strawberries have a lot of juice, and they will get smashed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the artwork here.
Incredible shot of JJJ and Ben York going head to head. This is really crazy because as much as we cover a lot of Spider-Man on this channel, we've talked about how JJ will have these big moments of clarity. And in this moment, he does show a bit of a side. Now, I do side with Ben York more, but he does bring on a few really good points. I'm like, oh crud. He's making some really strong arguments when he's not being emotional and letting loose. Where he says,
yeah, it's just that web crawling menace. He's the one that drives him mad.
This is 5 million readers worth of power. It can depose mayors. It can destroy presidents. And maybe once upon a time that was true. But he mentions a lot of stuff that was like, wow, where did this sentiment come from, JJ? You're usually just going off crazy about Spider-Man living in your head rent-free. Yet here you are, probably being the most encouraging guy to Ben to get back out there and do his job and do it well. He has those moments, even with Peter. It's kind of like a rare form thing. You gotta kind of catch it. But man, when you catch it, it kind of takes everyone back. Like, was that Jonah who really said that?
We gotta bring back chain smoking characters in superhero tales because it just brings a new aura when you have the right coloring.
Oh yeah, I agree, Fender, highly. You gotta have that older man in the room who's gonna give the tough love. He'll seem a little crazy at first, like the uncle at the party, the drunk uncle at the party. But there's always that moment you gotta catch it where he's gonna say some shit of that reeks of intelligence, and you're gonna be like, "Holy hell, that hit me like a 10-ton brick."
It's quite curious that Fenrir points that out. While the best use of smoke ever in a movie is made in a comic book adaptation
Uh
in
huh.
Dread. When they smoke the drug on Dread, especially if you're watching it on 3D,
Mm-hmm.
some of the best use of smoke on a scene ever. Because you get that fog, that sensation, while you get that distortion of the light and everything, and especially in
Mm-hmm.
3D looks so incredible, so amazing. You feel like you are getting a hit of something. You feel something is off in the imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, smoking and smoking in general in comics and in comic book movies really important, I will say.
Yep.
I just can't get over the coloring of this whole series. It's just phenomenal. Like it makes me feel at home. Like when you scroll through it, I don't know if it's just like a natural nostalgia filter or what, but it
Mm-hmm.
just when every time I read this comic, I just like, man, I just like this. It just looks pretty. It makes me want to keep reading it. I don't know, like
You can sense the effort that was put into it, and it's such it attracts you.
I maybe that's it. I don't know. It's like you get started and then like all of a sudden I'm in like the fifth or sixth, chapter, and it's like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Like
Mm-hmm.
so pretty.
Sorry, guys. I mean, they had a few different colors throughout this book, but obviously Mazzucchelli was the consistent penciler of this book. But they did have a few colorists right here. Obviously, Max Shield was them, and I think they had Christy something. Why is her name not coming to me? They had a lady, or I'm assuming, yeah, I'm assuming it's a lady, but they had a few different colorists throughout this series, and yeah, they still were managing making sure, like, yeah, Christy Shield right here. They are still managing to make sure that, hey, this is the Daredevil book, and it's not going to look all that different. You'll see some subtle differences, but it's still the Daredevil comic book because colors can help make the book look similar to what came before, even though some colors can have some really
Oh,
radically different styles. However, Christy Shield really managed to make sure, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to be radically different. It was still
there's
very faithful.
there's a note about that. If you read this version, this is the 2013 recoloring
Mm-hmm.
of Born Again. But the coloring on the original one is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing. I will say the recoloring. They make some colors too bright. They add too much saturation to something. What they do always when they do some recoloring. The original, absolutely fantastic. Just that because we are seeing on screen the 2016 compilation that is from the 2013 recoloring.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to add that. It's just that.
No, I'm glad you did add that. That's a hell of a point, dude. Of course, one of the last shots right here. Holy
Yeah,
damn.
I want that as a poster.
Right? And,
Like,
it's so fun they put next Armageddon. And you know what? It really does feel like Armageddon. There's a little bit of a Death Wish 3 here where it feels like a battle of Hell's Kitchen where everything is going up. Bombs are everywhere, guns are going off, shit's going on up on the building, going on down on the streets. It is an absolute war zone. And Daredevil Nuke, man. And Nuke is a guy that's normally a bit overpowered for Matt Murdock, but
The guy is a
man,
beast.
oh, I know. Nuke is scary. He's a very scary man who's
Seriously, if
obviously
you
being
saw
highly
this guy
programmed.
next to you in the bus terminal or just walking down the street at night, you'd shit your pants.
Oh, straight up.
I'm going on the other side. I forgot my keys. I'm walking away. That
I
man is
don't know.
huge.
Current day, you see
That
a
man is
crazy
huge.
guy popping pills. You're like, Uh, well, that's life, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe society has gone really, really wrong.
Yeah, it most definitely has.
You got that right, man. So
I mean, we
also,
have literal Gotham villains running cities.
We
oh,
live in
straight
a
up, they look like
society.
Gotham villains nowadays, and yet somehow they're loved. But that's again, that's what happens when you have a twisted
God, you need to
morality
make
based
Batman
world
real.
where morality is not really morality. It's presented as it, but it's the idea of it. It's superficial, non-existent, smoke and mirrors, etc., etc. And also, maybe if there's one to really further, once again, the idea to normies out there. Kingpin Wilson Fisk has always had a little bit of a reach to the political sides of things, and obviously to the militaristic side. Him
Yeah, he
having
runs insurgencies in other countries. It's not just America.
it wasn't just America. It wasn't just Mayor Fisk with Charles Soule or what you've seen in season 3 or the current Born Again show. It's not a new thing. He has definitely had it, and he uses it and abuses it, very scarily.
Yeah,
And
he's the military version of MK Ultra.
yes, oh, dude, nailed it. He's always
Yep.
had it. It's not a new
Mind
thing.
control through hypnosis and torture.
And drugs, a lot of drugs, tasty, tasty drugs.
Yep.
So it's always been there. It's not a recent thing that was just added on just to play to a, let's just say, very specific allegory. Now, could that stuff get inserted in pretty harshly throughout the current show? Yeah. And I'll be the first to say if it does. But if you want to compare it to what you see on Saturday Night Live, The Boys, literally anything else, for me, in my humble opinion, it's maybe a 1 out of 10 of Trump, if not nearly non-existent, unless you're looking for going out of your way to look for things. And I know there's been some pushback towards guys like me, Gary Nerdrotic, Razorfish for saying that, but I really strongly believe that sentiment, and I believe that because, well, I spent a lot of time in years with these comic books, and I know how these characters are. Daredevil's practically part of my DNA. Like outside of Spider-Man, Daredevil is probably the other character that I've spent the most time with in my life of fictional reading. So I'm gonna see it this way because I have that added context to these characters. I have that knowledge. It's been with me for, well, God, since I was a teenager, early teenager, I think. I mean, once again, my first pull list issue, not my first comic, my first pull list was Daredevil number 41 in 03 or 04. It was one of those years. But, man, guys, Born Again, I know it's been said, it really is one of the stories where it is 11-1 out of 10. I don't know how you could have objections. I welcome objections. If you got it, I'm all ears. Do we have them?
I have the
Does
drones
any of the
ready to
three of
strike.
us? Hell, chat. Do you have an objection? And seriously, you can have an objection. We don't need to be an echo chamber about this. But if we genuinely feel like this shit is the cream of the crop, as the macho man would like to say, you better let me know how you feel about that comic. Oh yeah. Just saying. I think. Go ahead.
There's something that I was thinking about what you said, and maybe I don't know if it's my imagination. I want to be positive or something, and I can't believe I'm going to say something positive about a Marvel Disney Plus show. They are actually nailing the Kingpin.
Yes, they are. Absolutely, they are. They are nailing him and Matt Murdock. They Daredevil, Matt Murdock. The fact that they are absolutely nailing those characters. They really are. It feels like Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio never missed a beat.
Yep. The pacing is a bit off. The quality of the CGI and the framing of one of the scenes, especially the scene where Kingpin is watching from the rooftop to the crowd. It's a bit off. You need to angle it better. It feels too artificially illuminated, so it doesn't yield perfectly as you wanted. Maybe some extra work on there, but all that is technical stuff. When you talk about the acting, Matt Murdock is absolutely perfect. The Kingpin is absolutely perfect. Vanessa Fisk, fucking hell.
Yeah, agreed.
I
Strongly
like the
agreed.
actor for Froggy too.
Oh, for
Eldon
Froggy?
Henson.
Yeah,
Eldon Henson.
I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
I think he did
yeah.
a really good job. I think they kind of went off the rails like season 2 a little bit, but I think he can beat. I don't know.
I think a lot of people think because they were so used to the realism from season one, they forget how many more of the weirder, more mystical, and sometimes supernatural elements were in the books because they got so acquainted to the grounded feeling of season one.
Well,
Like the hand has
100%.
always been there.
Yeah.
Oddball characters like Mr. Fear, the Gladiator, Ikari, characters like that have always been there, but obviously
Mr. Hyde.
season one, thank you. See, Mr. Hyde. Season one was really, really condensed and boiled down to straight Daredevil versus Kingpin. I think because people got so acquainted that, which, to be fair, I get it. It's a great story. I could see why people would have kind of affiliated with the rest of the story, even though it doesn't.
But it
He's
makes you
had a
wish they
lot of those
spread a lot
moments.
more instead of just sticking to
Oh,
one thing.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I feel like it's going to take a little bit of elements from season two in that regard, where you're going to definitely have more comic bookier elements come to play. And, I've always said, like, if a story has me engaged, I can forgive shoddy CG and stuff like that, especially when I know it's reduced for a TV budget. I can forgive it when I know I'm being entertained. And this show is trying to
And here's the thing, they could actually
absolutely
have
do
a
that.
more cartoonish way in the episodes. What, for example, yeah, you can have episodes where are absolutely serious, and you can have an episode where it's just a bad guy that Matt needs to figure out how to take down. Because in the comics, Matt has dealt with a lot of ridiculous and sometimes very cartoonish like villains.
Uh-huh.
Well, think about this. He's a lawyer. His worst enemies are usually ninjas. Again, he's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta find fun on that. You can just go straight face and don't create really silly characters because it just makes sense to be silly there. So some of the villains, maybe the most iconic serious villain for Daredevil will be the Kingpin. But because the
Mm-hmm.
Kingpin is basically humanity's version of a monster, he's the closest a human can get to that. He really is motivated only by greed and by
Mm-hmm.
desire to make his business bigger. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. Most of the moral dilemmas that even criminals will face for him is just a money transaction. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he is Mr. Serious. He is a really serious character. So having something like Bullseye that is silly. Sorry, Bullseye. He's quite silly. That's why I like his representation on the Affleck movie because there's those moments of him
He
just
was
being
just having fun, and you knew it.
silly.
I think
It's
Colin
a
Every
Farrell was
time
having a
Colin
lot of
Farrell
fun.
stuck his tongue out, you were like, "Yep, that was just him laughing."
Yep.
Like, I
Colin
wish they
Farrell
wouldn't have made him look
spirit.
that way. I wish they would have gave him his like bullseye
suit,
suit.
his
Oh
actual
yeah,
suit.
yeah.
I think that would have made the movie
I
just
agree.
that much
I hear
better.
that one was actually made, but they cut it out because they wanted to be more serious. Again, another stupid move these
Because
live
they were
action
pushing
things
for the
do.
Elektra movie. That's
I
why
It
that
would
hope
was
be
we get
serious.
a comic accurate suit in the show because if you look at the villain in the trailer Muse, they made him straight up 100% comic accurate. I'm like,
look. These
okay,
are
you
worlds of
just took.
superhuman beings. You don't need realism. These guys can move and fight hundreds of ninjas a night. Move at speeds insane. We don't need body armor. Just give them a freaking suit like something made out of their basement.
No,
You don't need too much.
Like, that's why I love
you're
Daredevil
talking
suit
about
in the Born Again series. It's
you're
literally
talking
just this
about
old cloth spandex suit.
but you're talking about the fantastic elements on the story. Is a blind guy that gets all the hot girls.
Mhm.
Do I need to explain more?
That's just charisma.
Yeah, that says it all.
That's Matt Murdock.
He can't even see them. He smells. She's hot. That's it. His superpower is basically pheromones. He's like,
Hey, at least he doesn't have radioactive jizz
Oh boy.
that we know of.
Poor
he
Hancock.
was exposed to radiation for a long time. I don't think he's going the same route as Spider-Man, just killing wives by eating them.
Mhm.
Uh, but the guy
Hilarious.
must be like those tiny dinosaurs that glow in the dark. You put the cover over him and it's just bright.
Mhm.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
That will be a cool superpower, though.
So
Yeah.
we're all in agreement. We're glad that they kind of wiped the whole She-Hulk thing away, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't
absolutely.
know if
No
they
question.
wiped it away, but I do know that with the She-Hulk, they have not acknowledged it. I think we gotta be keep aware of that. They have not said if it is or is not kind of anymore. They just have said that they're not.
Oh come on! If
acknowledging
if, if the
show.
MCU is smart in any way, they're gonna try to put all that She-Hulk crap under the rug and forget it ever happened.
It's
Well,
But
the
yet
we don't
again,
know if they're
to be
being
smart, you
smart
need to
people
actually
or
have a
not.
brain.
So that's a bridge we have yet to cross. But
Yep.
right now, at this point, it was made very clear that the events of that show will be not acknowledged. I hope it stays
Good.
that way because it sounds like they've already kind of green lighted a season 2, technically season 5 of this. I'm hoping, should they do it, we get once again. I hope we get to see Stiltman. I want to see Mr. Fear. I want to see those characters come into play. I mean, once
And
again,
keep
bring it
them
back to what else.
fantastical.
Keep them fantastical. If we're getting a comic accurate Muse, who's from the Charles Soule run, there's no excuse anymore to give us a comic accurate Bullseye. Fucking make it happen, bro.
Right.
And you
Want
can give
the
us
blue suit.
Matt's revolving door of girlfriends, please. I mean, you already are hint. You got one right now. Sadly, she's probably gonna have a bit of a death wish. No death.
Oh yeah,
wish,
she's
pun
gonna die.
intended.
One
I mean,
sex,
it
one
is written
tombstone.
all over the place.
One
She is
sex,
going
one
to drop
tombstone.
dead.
Also, another thing from the show. Now, granted, it wasn't in the Born Again storyline, but the minute when Daredevil threw Bullseye off the balcony, that did happen in the books. Exactly happened too. It was like issue 180 or 181. He tossed his ass and he dropped like flat as a pancake. And a lot of people are trying to use, oh, he just got back. I'm like, did you all forget how season 3 ended when he was being experimented on? And even if that wasn't there, we're 2 episodes in of something that has yet to fully play out. When you have the story complete, then judge if that's good or bad or not. Not judge it off the surface level because you can get many answers. I feel like the internet has really trained people to want to get answers for everything right away, right off the bat. It's almost like I want to know everything so I can be done with this and move on to next thing. I think the internet has really crushed attention spans for the most part. And because of how low attention spans are, people just want to get into everything and just move on. It's kind of like when I hear like people in my work, when they get in a show, they'll tell me how much they love it, but I never hear about them watching it again. And it's because they're watching the next thing to move on to the next thing and to the next thing. And it's not that I'm doubting their enjoyment level of it, but I'm doubting how much they enjoy it. Because when I got to the X-Files, I got into the X-Files. Like, really into it. When I got to the Sopranos, I got into the Sopranos. And for me, Cobra Kai, too. When I got into Cobra Kai, I got into Cobra Kai. Granted, that came to the streaming age, but I did go
West
back to
Wing.
Cobra Kai. What?
The West Wing. That was mine.
That
I
was
started
yours?
watching
Okay,
The
good.
West
No, hey.
Wing, and that was insane. I just didn't stop for like 3 weeks. I watched everything.
Uh-huh.
That's a really good series.
Nice.
It's open politically, like so, like it's a very liberal leaning show
Uh-huh.
because it's like
Uh-huh.
about like a liberal president, a Democratic president, and stuff. But like it's very open in like how they talk about things and how like the White House does things, and there's great character development throughout the whole story. It's probably one of my favorite series to rewatch ever. That and MASH.
Nice. Oh yeah, and I've heard people talk about Mash for as old as time. I got a fun comment to add to you about Mash. So I'll listen to Mark Miller talk about Mash because Mark Miller's British. He's from overseas, and I'm not sure if you know, but in overseas, so Mash is considered America not only one of the biggest shows of all time, but it seems like it's like a comedy. But he watched it as a drama. You're thinking, what the hell does that mean? Well, to him, it was a serious show because they didn't have the audience laughing and clapping and cheering track for the UK audience. So they always watched it as a really amazing drama.
Wow, that's a whole different experience.
Is that fucking crazy?
I gotta find some there has to be tracks out there of them without the laugh tracks, and I gotta watch the whole thing. Oh, that's gonna be a whole nother watch now. Great. That's got to be a whole different
I heard
experience.
that. I was like, what?
Wow.
Dude,
That's
there's a version
insane.
of Friends without the laugh tracks that is actually
Uh-huh.
scary.
It's the same thing with Big Bang Theory. If you ever watch
Yep.
Big Bang Theory without laugh tracks,
Oh,
it's
fucking
these
hell.
singles. It's frightening. The acting in that show is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of comedies that have laugh tracks really. Well, back in the '80s and '90s, they were actually funny, but now it's just literally to disguise how bad the crap is.
You
Yeah.
didn't
Like
really
like when
need
you when you drink about 15 different beers just to make sure that ugly chick on the other side of the bar looks better.
but if you have you ever seen I Love Lucy?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original show. You didn't really need laugh tracks that much. You had ways to make people laugh by zaniness and slapstick comedy. So it worked. It really
Uh-huh.
worked. I don't know why people have this fixation of telling you when you should laugh. When have you ever seen The Room? Maybe one of the most funny movies ever. You're supposed, according to the original intent of the movie, you should be crying throughout the movie. No, it's the funniest shit ever.
What's up, TZ? How you doing? By the way, TZ, real quickly, I know you were a major contributor to the Vegas fundraiser. I know you know that we hit the goal. Since I know you don't have Twix, I'm letting you know that I did follow through and I booked the plane flight to and back from Vegas thanks to you, the Deeple 101s, the Steve Mitchums, the Eric K's, the Jake D's, a lot of you guys, and no, D Bud, obviously, and there's a lot of you I'm not remembering. I apologize, but my point being is a lot of you guys really helped make that happen. And I made sure to, hey, I'm not going to just run off of this money. I'm not that type of guy. I use it right away. I got a good middle of the line flight too. So, and of course, there's some money that's left over that's me used towards the hotel. So it did. When I said that I was going to make a significant difference, it did. The flight is covered, and now I got like 150 left over for the hotel. Guys like you helped make that happen.
Nice.
To the ones who did have that, and I will have fun, but I'm gonna make sure though, like I'm gonna make sure I do like a stream from Vegas as well. I want to make sure like I really follow through on everything I said I was gonna promise I was gonna do for those who helped me out. So, and one day, hopefully, TZ, one day we'll be in the same neck of the woods. It might be ways away down the line, but man, one day when we get there, one day. First
Nick,
meal and or drink is on me, my dude. First one.
Nick, when you are on Las Vegas, I don't know. You may want to try to get a third flavor, because it won't matter because it will stay in Las Vegas.
Oh, you clever son of a bitch.
Yeah, you get out of Las Vegas, you are 32 flavors of Nick Weiser again. Everything is right.
Oh, damn. That's amazing. You know what? Maybe. Now, the thing is, do I tell people what that flavor is out there and never speak of it again? How does one go about it? Do I tell them what it is? How is the 33rd flavor decided? How is it celebrated? How does it stay in Vegas?
Okay, it's quite easy. You do the stream revealing the name of the new flavor, and at the very end, last second, when you are about to say the name, you just say it's cold, and you cut the stream.
Oh, cut out.
Yep.
Whoever's sitting around you will hear it, so they'll know. But the
Exactly.
stream won't know.
Exactly.
So it'll stay in Vegas. It'll have to say it out loud.
Okay. I like that.
Now we're thinking with our stinkers.
Oh, dude, it's freaking badass, man. I love when we can really use our minds and think outside the box and really be expansive. That's what it's all about, dudes. So, anyways, dudes, we'll probably go about another 20 minutes, call it a night. But before we do, I want to talk about some of the things that maybe have been inspiring our reading habits lately, because we haven't done that in a while. What's up, Evagor? Evagor, we gotta talk. I'll start off with our guest, Madhouse. So, Madhouse, what are some things that you, sir, have been on the reading whereabouts on? New, old, independent, mainstream, just name it.
I've been doing a lot of mainstream. I actually just got into. I'll pull it up because I was just reading it today. I was flopping back and forth between that and Born Again. I have it. No, go away.
Go away. That's funny.
There it
I
is.
think Fenrir fell asleep.
Nah, I'm still standing. I'm just waiting for my turn to speak. But
Oh, good. You'll be next then. All right.
There it is.
Do you need time?
Nope. It is the. I just got into the Batman, the Court of Owls.
Okay.
Run.
Okay. So you got
Nice.
Greg Capullo's. All right. Okay.
So that's I literally just did like three or four pages of that today, and it's just gorgeous looking. I love the penciling, the detail on all the characters are so good. But it was literally just whatever I pulled up that one day. That was I was like, okay, now we're doing this.
Okay. Cool. Fenrir.
yes, sir.
What is a thing you're like, bro? This shit is the shit.
Nightclub, man.
Oh,
We haven't actually talked about that.
Oh, dude, that was a hell of an ending. I love how over the top it was. I had told Mark if I didn't know his name was on the comic, I could have swore it was a Canon film comic because of how outrageous that ending was.
Yeah, I swear to God, it's the way Miller. No wonder the guy just keeps printing money. He knows how to make sure folks will come back with these constant endings where. I thought the guy was dead, and this subversion, man.
That is how you do actual subversion, by the way.
The guy bit his own kid thinking he was going to become a vampire. Nothing happened. We just thought him died, thought that he was dead. But Mike just screwed us over and said, nah, man, this is actually going to work. Works like that. God damn. I'm excited to see.
I love how when you look at that ending, you're thinking, holy crap, this is so obvious, but yet I didn't think about it. I didn't see it coming, and I should have. I should have seen it coming. Yet, here we are, and I didn't see it fucking coming at all. Hell of an ending. And then the layer of that quick moment of comment, and I don't want to spoil it, but I'll just say the elephant.
Oh, yeah, that was... Look, Matt, through the whole damn book, Matt has been building you up to wanting to see those shitty kids die. And he did perfectly. He killed them all in a very satisfying way.
Sometimes you have to have creative ways of acknowledging the elephant in the room. Great picks, Matt Helsa and Fenrir. Pablo.
Okay. First, I was reading Daredevil Born Again last week. As you remember, that was my random comic of not even the week. I just wanted to read it because it was coming out. The show, I mean, it was coming out, so I wanted to read it, right? Then our friend Dave C just sends me this image of a character that I thought maybe it was from Spawn or something like that, but I was like, I remember this guy, but he was on Marvel. So I search for the image, I find the comic, and I get hooked on it. Is Deathhead 2 or Deathhead the second? How do you say his name? Deathhead the second or two? Because it's just Deathhead and the Roman number 2. Is a fun character from the old school Marvel. I think it's like 90s. 90s era British Marvel, and it's actually really cool. Is this? God damn it! I will show the art because it's really difficult to convey how badass it is without actually showing you how badass it is.
Okay.
So here, I think I'm sharing.
Oh,
Is badass,
wow. Holy macaroni.
and it
That's
starts
head
with
is
the
completely
Wow.
of that.
terminated.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's head one or that's head the original.
And this guy's
That
been. This guy was in Doctor Who. Right? He was in the comics, Doctor Who comics.
exactly, my brother. So I remember the character. I just didn't remember where from until I do the reverse search. And yes, actually, he had adventures with the Fourth Doctor, but also with Captain America and with Adam Warlock. So it's one
Wait,
of
so
those.
Doctor Who's in
Oh yeah, Marvel
Marvel?
had the rights for Doctor Who, and there's an issue where the thing helps the Fourth Doctor resolve an issue in another planet.
Wow.
Yeah, that that actually happened.
I'm gonna have to go search them up now.
The Marvel era Doctor Who comics are really really good, and because it was a Marvel UK, they had this kind of zany characters like Deathhead and Deathhead 2. That he is just basically a super weapon created to kill people in order to learn their powers, to not their powers, their instincts and fight abilities and everything else. By
Is
the
that the
way, is metal
Predator?
as fuck. Is
Yeah,
really, really metal
literally.
as fuck.
Literally.
Yeah, he's crazy good. The art is incredible. But the guy kills Deathhead and absorbs his personality instead of instincts. So he becomes an asshole. And instead of going around and killing the people that he should kill to gain powers, he's just being an asshole in space. It's a great comic. It's actually a really good comic. And by the way, I found a similarity, a really important similarity that I think Marvel has been using for a long time. We just didn't give a crap about it. Uh, Tell me if you have heard this before, right? You get this failed experiment that an evil scientist makes that travels to Earth and has a confrontation with the Fantastic Four, and there he learns how to be a hero.
Silver Surfer?
Adam Warlock,
Oh, Adam Warlock.
that's Head 2. So we have named 3, and there's
Yo.
a lot more.
Yo. Hot damn. Yo.
It's a trend.
It's a trend. It just so happens that you go to fight the Fantastic Four while you are the creation of an evil scientist. And yeah, Reed Richards basically gives you a good talk and turns you straight.
He gives you that naughty dad, like, hey, you did a bad thing, but let's go talk about it. Like,
It works.
lecture, and then they become good guys, and it's like, why? Every time, every time.
By the way, the comic has some quite toxic panels also. So
Oh.
I will recommend. It's badass as hell. I think the first 10-ish issues keep the quality really, really nice. As you can tell, obviously the quality is voluptuous at least.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it pops out of the screen almost.
Does this lead into Rogue Savage Lands?
Yep.
Oh, I've been wanting to look into that.
Is crazy, man. This I will just recommend. That's Head. It's a blast. Read it. That's it. And obviously, One Piece. I have been reading One Piece. That I had a couple of. No, I think it was only this issue, and I wanted to read the previous issue too because it was really, really cool.
The
It
amount
has a
of
great.
guys in One Piece you respect just grows every new chapter. Never thought I'd respect a guy who can shag a giant woman and make a kid. God damn it. Oh, that's a different level
Yeah.
of crazy.
That's
Uh,
incredible.
and remember, she is the one that pursued him. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, the guy had a really big dick energy because the lady that wanted him was 20 times his size.
Pretty much the size of the
So
Baxter building.
it
And
sounds
she
like
was
he
still
had
a dick I wanted.
huge
Yeah.
dick energy.
Dolph Lundgren sized.
No, but there's a panel at the end of Loki Rising that is
Uh-huh.
fucking badass as hell. So I wanted to read that panel again, and then read the next issue just because, well, it's One Piece. How should I stop myself from reading One Piece? That's almost impossible. But yeah, I have been going through obviously Born Again, Death's Head 2. The second, I don't know, it's British or whatever, and obviously One Piece. That's it.
Okay. Awesome. I guess for me, I'm gonna go a very obvious one. And before I say anything, I did not know Vulcan lives was here in the chat. He said, "Hail." I don't feel like I've seen him in a while. Vulcan, if you're out there, I hope you're doing good, man. I miss you around these chats. Maybe you're just lurking. Maybe you're a lurker now. If so, I respect the hell out of that. I hope you're well, sir. For me, I mean, outside of a few current things that I've reading that I'm really enjoying, I am actually now starting on the Ed Brubaker run of Daredevil. I love this run of comics from Ed Brubaker and from Daredevil. His run starts off with Matt Murdock in prison with all his enemies he put in jail. That's the first arc of his run.
That's gonna be a network conversation on the dining hall.
It is a crazy run.
That's
I'm
a
happy
pickle.
to be what?
That's a pickle. That's a quandary that he found himself in there.
It's fantastic. Basically I'm rereading it again. I did the Charles Soule a few months ago. I reread through all of that, and I'm like, oh, do I want to do Innocenti? No, I did that. I think like a year or two ago. No, I'm like, no, I've not had Brew Baker in a few years, so maybe more than that. My memory's not clear. So yeah, I'm gonna do Ed Brew Baker. I'm on the first issue of issue 82 of volume 2. So, anyways, dudes, yeah, that's gonna be that for tonight. A bit of a short show, but a really engaging, fun show to talk nonstop Daredevil. And
Nick,
I want to say
Nick,
to her, yes,
it's not about the length; it's about the girth.
yes, right. It ain't about how you start; it's about how you finish. And we're popping out with a huge bang. So that's what we're doing here. So I want to thank our chat on YouTube and Rumble for giving us your time, your thoughts, your contributions, your interaction. I love you like to chill. Some of you like to interact. Some do a little bit of both. I appreciate the hell out of that. So thank you guys for taking your time to be here with us. And I want to thank our guest here, Mr. Madhouse Retro Gaming, for joining us, taking the time to be a guest on here. Obviously, he's obviously welcome back. I had a blast hanging out with him. I will plug my plug first, and I'll let these gentlemen plug their plugs on the way out. So, my plug first. Yes, I'm going full Homer Rock with that plug and the plugs. On my channel, obviously, will be here next Friday. Outside of that, Toxic Tuesday is going to be a really special event because it's basically a 3-way crossover. It's going to be me, Tom, and Price of Reason with our regulars on all 3 shows. We start at Midnight's Edge After Dark, then go to Toxic Tuesday, then The Price of Reason's The Night Owl. And on Toxic Tuesday, we'll be talking Jason Statham's Crank. It's going to be fucking crazy.
Ooh.
Absolutely crazy movie. And I should have my video up next week on Daredevil comics. Once again, I should have it. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm not going to release another video until I get this video done because I'm that guy. And of course, Wednesday night, we'll be reviewing episode 3 of Born Again as well on my channel. And as I said, for the next 6-7 weeks, each episode review will have a little bit of a rotating guest or two. So I'm still figuring out who I want on for episode 3, but I'll figure out that when I want to do that. So that's what's coming out on my channel. All things coming up, Millhouse. Once again, chat, thank you again for being here and supporting and for watching these things. And once again, for helping me get to Vegas. Thank you guys. Is that the one with the heart? Are you talking Crank or are you talking Daredevil? You told me, TZ. Meadows, my man, my guest, sir. Plug your Rumble channel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just search me up on Rumble, Madhouse Retro. Boom, right there. 8-bit player zone will be the logo there for you to look for. And then we smoke and we game and we yell about things that we don't like about, like, the new casting in the Harry Potter TV show.
Dude, you should invite me there if you want to get an N-word pass.
An N-word pass. Oh, I have an N-word pass. It's called the Rumble. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. But no, it's not really. It's more of a. I take a couple minutes.
What? You can't say the word nincompoop?
I can say.
I thought you were talking about
Ninny and
Ninja.
Naggers. So yeah, I don't know. We chill. We play a lot of it. Different.
Oh, come on, my
right
ninja.
now,
That lost power long ago.
So come chill, hang out, and vibe.
Okay.
Lots of blaring music. We like to blare music.
Could you put your link in the private and then on Rumble, and I'll post it on YouTube?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So that way our gentlemen can subscribe to you on Rumble. And yes, TZ, that is the one with the heart issue thing going on. To answer your question, I don't know why my brain just said, "You're stupid, Nick," and I'm like, "Oh, hold up." Now I remember. But Madhouse, thank you for being here, sir. We'll do this again. That's going to be a huge promise. I appreciate your time and contributions. And you have a magical night and weekend. I hope Sunday as well, guys, as a bonus. We should be doing our tier list Sunday for Midnight's Edge After Dark. But I'm going to let these gentlemen plug their plugs as well because we have yet to get to Fenrir. So, Fenrir, plug out.
All right, bros. You know me, I'm Fenrir the Ice Wolf. I'm on Twitter. If you want to find me, just search out my name. I'd also like to make a declaration. I have finally released issue 1 of... Okay, I've always had this plan for a novel of a pulp superhero adventure called Dyson. I want to do a test run first, so I'm releasing the first 2 chapters of the story in my Ko-fi. I've released chapter 1, part 1, Night of the Living Roman. It's out there in my Ko-fi. The link's out there. If you want to share it out, please somebody share it out. So if anybody wants to go read and maybe leave a comment and be judgmental, because criticism is always great. Criticism's always great. It's right there. So Pablo, Nick, if any of you guys want to go out, I could really, really use some criticism from you guys.
So yeah,
Seriously,
brother.
it's right there.
Also, for a second, the way that you approach this about you having to, come out with this. For a second, I thought you were going to announce that you are gay, and I was like,
Oh come
"Yeah,
on!
slowly coming."
Oh come on!
That was amazing. Yeah, I'll put your link in the private chat that we have. No, well, on Twix, and yeah, I'll within a few days I will happily get to reading it, Fenrir. You know I would.
Yeah, if you could also put the link there in the the people so they can they want to go
Yeah.
read because the story Dyson is actually very meaningful to me. It's really my own version of uh, a, a freaking love letter to the old superhero pulps of old, and also the old Cartoon Network era of action cartoons like Ben 10 and all that kind of stuff. Pretty much anyone that likes action, badass monsters, sword fighting, and mega sex, everything that's badass. I've written it in that way. So I really, really, really hope that it's good and that people probably want to see part two. And if they enjoy part two too, then I'll actually release the actual book on Amazon that has at least a total of 5 chapters because these are only 2 chapters, and then that one's gonna have at least a total of 5, and that's gonna make a whole complete book. So yeah, I really hope this does success because I really want to expand this. I really, really like this project I've been making.
Nice. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. Hey, I can't wait to read it, and we'll have some eyes on it for you. We put in the chat. What's up, Eric K? Must have been lurking.
Thanks, bro.
No, no. Hey, thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for your contributions to the discussion. You have a magical night and weekend. And last but not least, Mr. Pablo. What do you got to plug in?
Yeah, some more videos should be coming to Midasage. Also, we're doing a show on Midasage Español with my best friend that is called La Tangente de Tangent, where we go on tangents mostly about video games, let's be honest, because we are a couple of nerds. And my best friend was here in Ecuador this week, so we did it just face to face. We did the show face to face. We will be trying some more openness of topics, but let's be honest, we will drift into video games a lot because the guy comes from another country just to visit, and we spent a whole night playing Smash Bros. Because that's basically what we do. What can I say? That's life. It's wonderful when you have your best friend and you have a Smash Bros. That's life.
Yeah, it rules.
Yeah, but that's it. Basically, I'm trying some things on Suno because you can make really stupid songs that are really, really fun. That will be it, brothers. It's great having a chance to talk about a great run of comics. Dude, it's a seminal story that basically a lot of people have tried to copy and failed because you need the core, you need Matt Murdock to make the story actually work. And it's beautiful. It's
That's
great.
stating the obvious. And you're right, Pablo. Dude, keep that gaming going. Keep that Mario going. It's all gravy and good in the hood when you get to play with your buddies and games we can slaughter each other for fun. That's what friends are for. Thank
Hell
you,
yeah.
sir, for being here as always. You have a great night, weekend. I can't wait to see you next week. We'll figure out what we want to talk about when we get to that point. Also, let me know if you want to do a Daredevil episode or not. If you want to come in, let me know.
Oh, for
We
sure.
can work out a point for you to come in for one episode. We'll talk about it. Really quickly before you actually get the fuck out. Abigor, I'm gonna hint at you, so this will persuade you. So we talk. Metal Blade Records Museum, Las Vegas. It exists. It's real. And Brian Slagle from Metal Blade even responded to my comment on Twix about it. So it's real, and we can go there. I just need you to actually be there so we can actually go. And thank you, Stephen M. KLL, for this great comment, as always. You have a great night. And to the rest of the chat, you all have a great weekend. All right. This is the part where we say goodbye, good fight, and good night. Okay? Thank you.
It's like winning. I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed. I have one gear. Go.